Hey, hello Milo, hello Eth, hello Alyssa, hello Orium, hello Adam. Postponed bedtime by a little bit, I appreciate that. It is indeed Ruby Day. I've been using the Demon Souls starting stream thing since I streamed Demon Souls for the first time. I just kind of like the vibe of it more. I don't know. I like the Dark Souls one, but I just enjoy the music and everything of Demon Souls a little bit more, and I feel like it, since I use Demon Souls like music and stuff so often, it's fitting. Um, okay, so obviously the stream is the Bandit's Knife. I'm not entirely sure how I want to go about this. I'm thinking, um, I'm gonna get Dark Moon and Sunlight Blade. Wow, good Asylum Demon. Didn't roll in the best way to do that as fast as possible, but it wasn't bad at all. Hello, Executioners. Welcome. The Thief class stole the Bandit Knife from the Bandit class. Yes. That's why no bandit ever actually starts with a bandit's knife, because all the thieves in the lower undead burg stole it. You're outside right now? Alright. I hope if you can join later that you end up enjoying, but good luck with whatever you're doing. That makes a lot of sense. I like the headcanon that the bandit class was supposed to have the bandit's knife, but it got stolen. So they're relegated to their backup weapon, their axe. There you go. Yeah, okay, so I'm thinking of getting both Sunlight Blade and Dark Moon Blade, but I also really do not want to have to fight. Hold on, it's in there somewhere. I don't want to have to fight Gwendolyn, and I also don't want to have to get a souvenir for Prizal. So both of those are going to be annoying. Hello, Sinner Soul. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't think having scaling infusions makes too much sense for Dark Souls 1 specifically. In terms of physical scaling. Just using resins. I mean, resins aren't very strong though. Like, they're good early game, but after that, they kind of fall off really hard. I'm going to quit out here because I'm gonna go straight back to the Asylum. And if you don't reload, it gets really glitchy. There's a jump you can do to get straight back to the Asylum. From, right here. Like, you can just jump up onto the roof. And it's a little bit difficult. We'll see if I can do it quickly enough to warrant doing this, but... if you don't reload your game somehow, the game will get confused, and you'll, like, be able to fight the... Oh, hey, first try. The stray demon twice. I don't know. It's weird, so I just try to avoid doing that. Hello, Mats. Welcome. This cat emotes thing in a video? What are they from? Are they just, like, default YouTube emotes? Dark Moon and Sunlight Blade are spell buffs. Resins are like gold pine resin, charcoal pine resin, poison pine resin. You know, just because you want those in a video, I am immediately tempted to make this stream into a video. I have so many videos that I want to do stacked up. Pardon me. Ugh. Owie. Thing's fine. I'm gonna go out again to lose aggro. Yeah, Sunlight Blade and, well, all spell buffs do scale with their relevant magic stat. So Faith, or Sunlight Blade and Dark Moon Blade scale with Faith. Crystal Magic Weapon, and Great Magic Weapon all scale with Intelligence. A green armor set that resembled an egg. I think the closest would be like the Adventurer set, right? Which isn't very close. Speaking of videos I want to make, a French YouTuber by the name of Sporkid made a video about a run I did in Tunic, like almost 4 years ago by now, I think. But I never finished that run, and that was kind of the, like, ending of the video, that I never finished the run, but somebody else ended up doing something similar at the end of their run and beat the game very similar to the rules that I had in my run. But it's inspired me to go back and try that run again, and I've been really, really enjoying playing Tunic again. I'm a little bit more prepared than I was last time, but the run is still very difficult, especially not after not playing Tunic for like a year. Yeah, the adventure set isn't great for that, but it's probably the closest. Or wait, is it just the pants that are great? I don't remember. I think there's something... I might even not be thinking of the adventure set. Ghost Rider, the Fellowship, Link, possibly a Predator from Predator versus Alien, right? Ooh. Huh. I mean, yeah, I can see how those would work. I don't know. I don't even... There's the videos that I want to make. I have the Blacksmith Hammers run, like, done. I have the script written. I just need to record the audio for that and edit it, which... Ugh, I hate doing that part. Especially with this video being a little bit longer than most because it goes into New Game Plus, New Game Plus Plus. But... You use black fire bombs on Stray Demon? I don't know. I don't usually do cosplay runs, and then when I do, it's usually for, like... Or it's like in a stream with some character that uses a weapon that I haven't used yet. Like, for instance, I did Loud Track because I wanted to use the Shodel. I just got to Stray. I did the jump on the roof of the building and Firelink to get back to Stray immediately. Nice to have that boost in souls. I don't know how much the scaling on the Bandit's knife matters. Or if it's going to matter compared to, like, the magic scaling. Probably not at all. But I also want to have decent scaling just because I think that'll be extremely important for the DLC, because the DLC is obviously very resistant to all magic types. I don't know. I'll figure it out. I only do it immediately when I start as the thief if I want to boost in souls. It's pretty rare for me to do this though, to be honest. I think level wise I'll get 40 dex, 50 faith. Health is probably going to be kind of important, especially because I do no poise damage at all. I don't know, I'll figure it out. Hello Sabrina, welcome. Just started and I have already beat the Stray Demon at 10 minutes in. Strong start to the run. I rarely use the fire bombs. It's when I use the thief, I use fire bombs because there's no other decent starting weapon or starting gift. But oh, I have a bone, don't I? But I don't know. My starting class is usually for the levels rather than the gear, you know. Okay, dexterity. That get some scaling immediately. Did I go into the... Get the... Yeah, I'm gonna get the large number now. A good pun, Alyssa. Great demon, more like... Dead. Welcome, Carl. Or healing wares. I haven't used healing wares in so long. Last time I did that... Last time I started with healing wares in Dark Souls 2 was... I mean, probably before I even learned what ascetics did. I haven't started with anything other than the ascetic for so long. Just because having that boost in souls at the beginning is so nice. Let's see if I can... Immediately mess it up, of course. It's kind of par for the course at this point. Oop. Oh yeah, there was a whole discussion about this on the Discord, huh? Yeah, I don't know. Like, I guess if you don't like using aesthetics, it's whatever. But when you get to the point where I don't know, aesthetics, it just makes the game more fun, in my opinion, because it adds so many ways to like go through the game. Like you don't have to go to New Game Plus for a lot of things that you would otherwise have to go to New Game Plus for, and you get so many extra materials and stuff. The Bandit's knife is incredible. I don't know where you, oh, I think I did it, but then I quit out too early. I don't know where you're getting the impression that the Bandit's knife is mediocre. Bandit's knife is really good. Oh, darn. Okay. I'm gonna heal. I think it did damage to me. Are you kidding me? And it put me out of the menu because I landed. Okay. The Bandit's knife is genuinely one of the best starting weapons. Probably only outclassed by the broadsword and the mace. And even then, like, not including Pyromancy, obviously, because that doesn't count. The Bandit's knife is really, really good, and getting it, it's one of the harder starting weapons to get without having it for the starting class. I guess they're meh in general if you're not using them correctly. If you're trying to use them like a straight sword, then yeah, they're going to be pretty terrible, but they're incredibly versatile. Like the high crit chance, on top of being extremely useful for all of the elemental damage types. On top of just like being fast, easy weapons to use. I don't know. It's weird to say that daggers aren't a good weapon type in this game. Alright, I got this. This is the one. Never mind. Dark Souls 2 does have a very good New Game Plus. I've heard people say that they don't like using aesthetics. I don't remember who said this. Oh my god. I can do this. I know I can do this. It's been like 2 weeks since I've done this, and I just can't do it anymore. I've completely lost my ability to do this. I think, yeah, someone said that they don't like using aesthetics because they don't like going through the same area with the same character. But, like, that's not what aesthetics are, because, first of all, New Game Plus, but also, you don't... The point of the aesthetic isn't to go through an entire area again, right? It's to get a specific thing from a specific area. You don't build around the crit with the dagger. That's just a huge bonus that makes going through levels a lot easier. The daggers are just good for... I mean, status effects are kind of in Dark Souls 1, but they're great for status effects. They're great for elemental damage, especially if you're using any spell buff at all. They're good for being able to attack quickly. And if you're able to take advantage of that, like, you know. Their poise damage is lacking, but their normal damage is absolutely not. I mean, this is unupgraded in the depths. I'm one-handing it, but yeah, daggers are probably the best weapon class for spell swords. Like, they're very, very niche, don't get me wrong. You're not going to have a generalist build based around a dagger. But if you know what you're doing, they are incredibly strong. Okay, gonna... Gonna do the thing. Ugh. Crit builds are more for, like, PvP than PvE. Primarily. Actually, I don't care if I die. Also, Dark Souls 2 and 3 make crits a lot more useful. And then Elden Ring as well, obviously. Okay, now... Yeah, it's Andre. And then I can get this thing to +10. I'll go into Ascends to get the Bard Shards. And then we'll go from there. Pretty simple build so far. Especially since I can't get any decent buffs until in Orlando, so. I'm gonna end up playing really poorly in this run, and I'm 100% blaming it on playing Tunic for 8 hours yesterday. It has nothing to do with the fact that I'm tired and haven't played Dark Souls in 2 weeks, and oh wait, no, I played it last week, didn't I? I forgot. Well, wait, did I? I'm pretty sure I did. I'm losing it. I don't know. I'm blaming it on the fact that I played Tunic for 8 hours yesterday. That's the point. I was gonna stream Demon Souls yesterday, actually, but I had a doctor's appointment to schedule a surgery, so unfortunately no Demon Souls stream this week, but I will definitely have one. Oh, wait. I'll have a Demon Souls stream next week, but not a Dark Souls stream next week because my surgery is on... No, my surgery's on Monday. I might be able to do both. I might also have to do neither, depending on how capable I am of streaming after a surgery. We'll see. Hello, Seal. Thank you for the good stream wishes. Hi, Krista. Welcome. The doctor seemed like she knows what she was doing, and it's a fairly simple, uninvasive surgery, so very unlikely to have complications, at least. Which is definitely a good thing. I should go to... Oh, the one thing that I hate about starting as Bandit is killing the crystal lizards. But I guess that's what the fire bombs are for. There's no reason to kill this guy. I guess 2,000 souls. I would hope the doctor knows what she's doing, at least. Oh, it's not even 2,000. I'm gonna buy 2 shards with that. Yeah, if you quit out while going over the pit under the elevator, it'll teleport you to the top. I'm gonna go to this one first, actually. There's a lot of weird stuff like that with quit outs. That's the only one that I use frequently, just because I don't like waiting for the elevator, because it's a relatively long elevator. But there are a bunch of instances where quitting out is extremely useful. I don't know why that specific quit out one works, because normally your last valid ground is like where you started onto the elevator from. I don't know why that one specifically just sets it by default to the top. Yeah, but that's the only elevator that I know of where stable ground works like that. Probably not much reason to kill Havel. Havel's ring I probably won't be using since a bandit's knife is extremely light, but... I don't know, I've never seen anyone use Upwarp on anything other than that one specific elevator, so I guess I haven't tried it, but as far as I know. I guess I can try it on Jesus. Well, a different elevator. There we go. Another good chunk of souls, I guess, that I can buy. Knife shards with. Alright, sleep well, Seal. Thank you for being here. Yeah, but it's not like the only Dark Souls content I watch is speedruns, you know? I don't know. Maybe Minnow has done it at some point. Okay, no Titanite, unfortunate. If I want a chunk. I think a chunk from the other one would be the best outcome. I don't know, I guess I could dupe materials, but I don't think I want to do that. It doesn't feel good. I don't know. I guess I do dupe upgrade materials somewhat frequently. I'm not like staunchly against it or whatever. It just feels more fun to not do that sometimes. Hmm. Maybe just for the sake of the fact that this is going to be a relatively simple build, otherwise I shouldn't. But it's also like I'm probably going to play poorly because I haven't played Dark Souls in a bit. At least I don't feel like I haven't played Dark Souls since the last stream, and I'm also feeling tired, so I don't know if it would make sense to dupe because of that. Oh yeah, Firebomb. Hey, a chunk. There we go. Hello, Bad Dreamer. Welcome. I hope you enjoy your first stream. If playthroughs are feeling the same, why don't you set arbitrary restrictions to, like, make that not happen? I'm actually going to grab the wolf ring. I don't tell you what not the wolf ring. Yeah, the wolf ring. The poise ring. I don't usually, but I think it'll be cool for this weapon. Especially when running through certain areas. I feel like... I don't know. I haven't actually used the bandit's knife through a full run yet. And I'm wondering if it's the same kind of thing as the whip, where it really, really sucks early on. But as soon as you get good scaling, it becomes, like, incredible. We'll see. I want to do another whip run at some point. Maybe I should use the notched whip and the guardian tail. I doubt they're nearly as good as the base whip, at least the guardian tail, but I imagine the notched whip is at least usable based on how the normal whip run went. Have you used every single soul level 1 weapon? Do soul level 1 with only the Ghost Blade, or with only the Morning Star, or with the War Pick, you know? There are a lot of weird soul level 1 runs. There are a lot of weird runs in general. Hell, you could do Dragon Torso Stone only. Soul level 1. That's a really fun way to do soul level 1. Yeah, I'm at the point where I know effectively everything about this game. But, you know. Was it Aora who said that she did soul level 1 with the War Pick? I have done a run with the Great Scythe. I also did a run with the Life Hunt Scythe, which is very similar. It's been a long time since I did the Great Scythe run, and I didn't make a video out of it, but... 1110? What is the Pyromancer's dexterity? I did composite bow for my bow only run. That was like my main weapon for that whole thing. Okay, I'm gonna buy a few of these. Gonna do send skip, I guess. Can I rest here? I'm going to again, just in case. Yeah, composite bow is one of the best weapons in the game. Like, full stop. It's incredible. Especially if you are able to use RTSR, or especially hyper mode. If you can hyper mode with the composite bow, it does stupid damage. I don't know. I think the Gargoyle's Halberd is kind of just better than the Great Scythe in that way. It has a relatively similar moveset. I would argue better because it has sweeps and like overhead swings. Oops. But the Great Scythe is cool. we go. I have to buy, I think 3. Yeah, 3 from the Crestfallen Merchant guy. I might have to dupe souls for that. Thank you, Brenda, for being here. Good luck with work. Capitalism. Pyro has 9 decks, so no war pick. Ah, darn. Gargoyle's Halberd has bad scaling, but it has incredible base damage, so it doesn't really matter. Yeah, Pyromancer is the only soul level 1 class. All the other classes don't start at level 1. I think Deprive starts at like level 6. Okay, I don't know why I missed completely. Bonked. I know Morningstar and Ghostblade work for soul level 1. I have been wanting to do a run using them. I also wanted to do a run using the war pick, but I guess that's not an option. But there are a surprising amount of soul level 1 weapons. I've been wanting to use the Manserpent Greatsword for quite a while, actually. It's a relatively rare drop, so I never ended up using it casually. I used it for a little bit in a randomizer run, and that's the extent of my experience with it. It was really fun. A fun weapon. Wow, that is a lot more damage than I was expecting it to be. Okay, get that. Yeah, Giant Blacksmith Hammer. Reinforced Club is also a really good soul level 1 weapon. Restriction. And you have to be better with the boss fights than you do casually. You have to take far fewer hits in soul level 1 than you do casually. Restriction and added difficulty is the fun part. When you already know Dark Souls 1 relatively well, soul level 1 forces you to play in a different way. Yeah, Reinforced Club is one of the better soul level 1 weapon, or yeah, one of the better soul level 1 weapons, especially if you infuse it with fire or lightning, especially fire and chaos. It's a really good backup for the Giant Blacksmith Hammer. Okay. I need oops. No one said it's inherently fun. It's fun for people who like soul level 1. That's what is fun about soul level 1, the restrictions. If you don't like it, that doesn't mean it's suddenly a terrible challenge run or whatever. Okay. Purchase 3 of these. I guess 3 of these. And I grab the key, get the elevator, and I have not come anywhere close to playing Dark Souls 1 in all the ways it can be played. Krista, how much playtime do you have in Dark Souls 1? Not bandit time, it's thief time. The bandit has the axe. Okay, so I have actually started level 1 Straight Sword Hill only. I have made it to Ornstein and Smo, and they are very, very difficult. I've I've made it through like 3/4 of Ornstein's health bar in the first phase. Oh wait. It's very difficult, but definitely not impossible, and not like boring like fist only would be. Yeah, like don't get me wrong, my favorite kinds of challenge runs are use this weapon, even if it's not particularly difficult, right? Like the Ghost Blade, that run was more difficult than a casual run because I restricted myself to one specific weapon that's not particularly good, and also has a moveset that's different from what I'm used to. Or like bow only, I think is a fundamentally more interesting challenge run than Soul Level 1, but that doesn't mean that Soul Level 1 is a boring challenge run. It restricts your options, and you have to figure out how you can thrive with those options, you know? I should get the giant on top. I don't get mad at games very easily, and if I do get frustrated, I've gained the self-control to be able to just kind of turn it off. Challenge runs aren't about being hard, they're about imposing arbitrary restrictions that make the game more fun for you. It's a challenge because it's not what was intended, right? I think I did Maneater Mildred back when... I think I did a Maneater Mildred cosplay when I did the Butcher Knife playthrough, actually. That was really fun. 2 solar pellet streams in 1 week. I didn't stream this week. Bleed is HP based, yeah. Night Rain yesterday? What happened in Night Rain yesterday? Yeah, I think routing is the most fun part of challenge runs in general. That's why I like doing them. Like, for Tunic, the run that I'm doing is stick only, which is like insanely difficult compared to a casual run, obviously, because you're just doing way less damage. Generally, from all of the bosses, I've had to do them hitless, except for the first one. Anyway, point is, that game has so many routing options, and like, I don't want to spoil anything, because Tunic is one of those games that, like Outer Wilds, where you should absolutely play it with no spoilers whatsoever on your first playthrough. But suffice to say, I really, really enjoyed routing that, and I'm really excited to finish up that video so I can talk about it. Oh, right. I haven't even attempted any of the, like, harder versions of bosses in Night Rain yet. Yeah, I really love Thymesia. I played it, or yeah, I beat all the bosses the day, I finished it the day after I recommended playing it, and had a great time. I forgot how much I enjoyed Thymesia. Or black leather and plague doctor masks. Personally, I'm not super into like doctor aesthetics, but I get it. Come on. There we go. And then I need to get the ones from the Black Knights in the Bergen Parish. And then I need to get the ones in the place. New Londo, that's what it's called. Uh, queer would be an understatement. I don't think asking if someone's queer is rude. I am a trans woman and a lesbian, so yes, very queer. Um, and also autistic, and I have ADHD, and I'm Therian. I use she/it pronouns, so you know. Welcome back, Executioner Smo. Brings you to your knees. In what way? Okay, I should be able to get this to +10. And 5, 6, of course. Has gone woke. What? No. My favorite Dark Souls streamer has gone woke. Hello, Nevin. Welcome. You a queer? Are you a queer? I'm trying to think what the first, like, explicit mention of queerness is on my channel. I mean, I think I mentioned I was trans before I even started doing Dark Souls stuff. You one of them queers? Okay, new Londo, and then Quelaag. Gay people are pretty awesome, to be honest. Speaking of gay people, if you are not aware, I have a Discord, link in the description. A lot of queer people who like Dark Souls in there. So if you're looking for a supportive queer community, that's what I try to uphold in that server. The Gwendolyn essay. Oh, true. That was very explicit and, like, explicitly about queerness. I kind of forgot about that. Oh, I should do gargoyles first. I'm gonna get a +15. Peace. And then do gargoyles, and then do Quelaag. You need to fight Sif before 4 Kings, but yeah. Dark Souls is extremely cishet. This is true. Krista, thank you so much. A really weird relationship. I don't know. I feel like if I realized my sexuality was queer before I realized my gender was queer. So, like, I would be, if I was heterosexual, then I would be this. Thank you, Krista. That means a lot. Four Queens would be a lot better. That's true. Okay, I'm gonna get 40 decks. Jeez. Excuse me. Off of the souls that I get from Quelaag and Ceaseless and the Gargoyles. Then I'll probably level up health to like 20, put on Favor and Protection. And then start leveling up Faith from there. Or Drag Queens. Yeah, killing Taurus Demon last would be relatively easy. Hey, that's Winter, that's literally exactly what I did in this run. If you don't quit out, or if you don't reload somehow, either by dying or quitting out of the game or whatever, if you don't reload the Asylum and you go straight back to the Asylum from Firelink, the game will get really confused and you'll have to fight Straight Demon twice. I don't know, it's a whole thing. It's really strange. So if you do that, remember to do that. Remember to reload the game somehow. Oh yeah, and if you're interested in the 10k special, that will be streamed in the Discord because YouTube will not like it. Oh, no, please. Thanks, fine. I don't think I've ever been attacked on the ladder after going up and around. What about with the bandit's knife? The stray demon? The 10K special is going to be a drunk stream. We're like 500 subscribers away, huh? That's crazy. I forgot how close we are to 10,000. So many people. Yeah, Bandit's knife does turn the stray demon inside out. That's true. It's him bleed a lot. I kicked on the ladder, right? 100,000 stream of getting high? Probably not. I cannot function while I'm high. I mean, I can barely... Excuse me, I can barely function while I'm drunk, but I cannot... Oh my goodness. I cannot function while I'm high, so... Very doubtful. I also just, like, don't get high ever because I can't function, and I like functioning most of the time. Okay. Here. Insult August. For very normal reasons. Okay. I'm gonna go up and around again. Well, okay. But, like, when I'm high, my brain shuts off completely. It's not like a... Hee, I'm bad at this. It's like, what is this thing in my controllers? Why is the screen moving when I press the buttons? It's more than most people is the point. Oh my goodness, that's the worst thing to happen there. I have to go up and around again. Once again, I am blaming this on the 8 hours that I played Tunic yesterday. Oh, I should probably heal. It's fine, probably. Granted, the only times I've actually been high have been from edibles, which I've heard can have vastly different effects from, like, smoking. So, I don't know. But again, I'm also just not super partial to being high in the first place. Get to learn Dark Souls for a second time? I don't think that's what would happen. It's not like a, I don't know what's happening. Oh, I'm learning. It's like I don't know what's happening, and it's impossible for me to figure out. Pardon me? Ah, again? I don't normally get hit when I'm going through here. Okay. See? The ladder is completely safe most of the time. Hydrogen bomb versus coughing baby. I assume I would be the coughing baby in that analogy. Oh right, I need to kill him, I forgot. Sorry about this, Ingrid. But welcome back again, Executioner Smo. Oops. Come on. I know you can go over this. Oh, okay, that works too. Careful, don't fall over while you're trying to watch a stream while walking. From experience, that can be difficult. Is that what that magic is? I've never seen that spell. I've never seen him use that spell. I didn't know he could do that. I don't know if the lever will be rotated, actually. I quit out so that the ghost wouldn't attack me. Okay. Now, grab the chunks in the very large number. I don't know. Ingrid is like supposed to be a protector of this place, right? I feel like he'd be better at not panicking than the average person. I could use humanity to try and increase the chance for a chunk drop, but I don't know if it's necessary. There we go. Chunk. Unfortunate. I do need to kill at least Dark Wraiths to get the chunks anyway, so if I don't get any from the optional ones I choose to kill, it's not a big deal. Oh, it alleviates bleed buildup, but he had just bled. Didn't he use that after he had already bled? Maybe it was just queued up. We're learning things about Dark Souls today. I think my favorite thing about this game is every time I play it, I learn something weird about it. I guess that's true of a lot of games, but Dark Souls feels special in that way. Whoa! Hey, calm down. You happen to be in the right place at the right time. Bleed Cure is very worthless. I think Blood Red Moss is probably the item that I've used least in this entire game, which is saying a lot because I hardly ever use Divine Blessings. I don't know. Are you feeling like being outside today, Smo? Ingrid is just too smart. Have a good day, Nevin. Thank you for being here while you could. Yeah, Illusory Wallace taught me a lot about this game. God, it's him saying that my Estus recovery video on Dark Souls 3 was an honorary Dark Souls Dissected video is still one of the craziest things anyone's ever said about any of my content. Like, that's so humbling to me. Okay. Just gonna sprint straight to the chest. Because the chunk is more important than potential chunks. Yeah, I think that's the best compliment I've ever gotten, and it's not even close. Okay. Do I have a bomb? I don't. Okay. Fastest way up would be this elevator then. Or I could run through here. I could grab RTSR. Oh, I don't need it. Yeah, I try to, pardon me? I don't know. My content is very, very, very inspired by Illusory Wall. I try to take what I learn in his videos and turn them into interesting challenge runs, right? So like the literally nothing run used, I don't know if I did that too early. The literally nothing challenge run used the humanity drop system that I learned about specifically in his videos, right? And that goes for a lot of what I know about this game. Pretty much everything I use in challenge runs to make them, because instead of making the game harder, I like to play the game in unique ways every time, which is why I like doing challenge runs. So instead of, you know, just using a weaker weapon, I'll like to use what seems to be a weaker weapon and then find ways to make it really strong or whatever. And there's a lot of ways you can do that with a lot of different weapons. Or like with the Life Hunt Scythe, when I did that run, I did everything I could to offset the bleed and increase my bleed resistance, which made that really, really fun and basically removed the gimmick of the weapon, which just made it a really good weapon. So, cooked kidney beans? That doesn't sound very good. It's almost 1 a.m. and you're outside at the park? That seems... I don't know, depending on where you're at, that could be dangerous. Rhea, are your arms okay? Talking is hard. Ignoring the fact that it's literally my job and I do it all the time. 4 undercooked kidney beans can be fatal. It's very noticeable. I think that's a good thing. Okay. Force. No. Modify. Force. Okay, and I need the chunks from the 2 Black Knight. Okay, I want 40 dexterity for... Yeah, I technically am a professional at Dark Souls. Yeah, by definition. That's another reason I used it in the title of my Night Rain, my first Night Rain video. Thought it was funny. Okay, yeah. And I mean, to be fair, Illusory Wall was in the Estus recovery video, so if anything, that does help it become an honorary Dark Souls Dissected. I wish that video got a little bit more, like, I don't know. The reason I made the video is because there's so many misconceptions about how the mechanic works. Like, how people think it works like the humanity system in Dark Souls 1, or how it works like the Estus resource system in Dark Souls 1, or how it works like anything else in Dark Souls 1 that it has literally no relation to and works completely differently. And it got like 6,000 views. It wasn't like completely unknown, but it would have been cool if people who are interested in that kind of content from Illusory Wall had seen more of it. Small kittens are very cute. Okay. How did I mess up parrying a Black Knight? This sucks. I'm terrible at this game. Yeah, that's true. A lot of mechanics in Dark Souls 3 are just mechanics in Dark Souls 1 changed slightly. Excuse me. Pardon me. I assume it's faster to go through the Taurus Demon than to go back. Krista, thank you so much. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like... I don't know. There's a joke here about being a pro at you giving me money and not actually at Dark Souls. That was unfortunate. I forget that they can shoot this far. But I don't know what that joke is. So you'll just have to imagine that I made a funny joke. No bleed? I was expecting a bleed. What's Taurus Demon's bleed resistance like? Okay, guess I didn't need it. Yeah, this wall is pretty cool. Like, from the little that I've talked to him, like, for that video, especially, he's just a chill guy. Has darks and souls, but no dark souls. It does have dark souls. That's what the humanity is. +2 what? Atropine? I quit out there because if you don't, the dragon or Drake won't actually jump down from the bridge. I thought you were out at the park. Are your cat and dog with you? It's in the prophecy for the Dark Warning. I haven't listened to that dialogue in so long. Yeah, I mean, all of Illusory Wall's videos are very level-headed and informed, to be fair. Oh, you made it back home? Okay. I don't usually say stuff like this, because, I don't know, it feels insincere, but if you like my content and, I don't know, want to help me grow in terms of as a YouTuber, but also have more like financial stability and everything, even just liking the stream helps the algorithm a lot. I also, if you don't like giving YouTube money, I have a coffee link that you can donate to and all that stuff, link in the description. Just because I feel like, I don't know, I've heard a lot of people say that saying that out loud can help people who don't remember to do that sort of thing but want to do that. Anyway. I was just running between areas. I figured that was a good time to... You want me to starve? I don't know, I feel like being here and watching this stream is kind of antithetical to that. I mean, like, even just being here is also very helpful to the algorithm, but obviously, liking is a little bit more impactful. I need to set up... I got health insurance literally the day before yesterday. So I need to set that up with my HRT provider. Ugh. Adult stuff. Supposed to be a silly, fun Dark Souls. I love financial instability due to capitalism. Late stages of capitalism. Yeah, yeah, exactly. You do not think, therefore you do not am. Dancing to the algorithm. Indeed. Alright, I assume the gargoyles with the +15 bandit's knife won't be difficult. So I don't know if that's hubris, misinformation, or well substantiated. Excuse me. Thank you. The last time I fought the gargoyles with a bandit's knife, it was completely unupgraded and it took forever and was really boring and annoying. So we'll see how different this ends up being. I'm gonna guess 6 hits for the first go. Was that 5 or 6? I forgot to count. It's at +15. It's maxed out. Congratulations, Seth. I'm surprised that was you and not Anthony saying that. Big Tony. Right. Yeah, I think that alone is good evidence that the bandit's knife is not terrible. Congratulations. Do I have a bone yet? Ew. I don't know where I picked this one up, actually. And then you get one from ringing the lower bell and also from beating ceaseless. Oh. I mean, this is my first time using the bandit's knife through a full run. I've used it at the beginning of the game a couple times, just starting as thief, and haven't liked it because of that, because obviously I'm not, like, taking advantage of it. But I hope to be singing a different tune by the end of this run. What bosses have I done? I've done Gargoyles, Stray Demon. That's it. That's where the list ends. Oh, also Taurus Demon. I forgot I did Taurus Demon because I never actually fight Taurus Demon. You Alt F4 when you rage quit Dark Souls. I do that sometimes. I only do that, excuse me, when the death animation is taking like a long time. Oops. Wait, this is bad. Okay, everything's fine. I tried to kick and then the input. I messed up the input, but everything's fine. I'm gonna put that on. Just in case. That. There we go. Great damage moment indeed. Now we have poise and a slight bit of health and some endurance. And after beating Quelaag and and Ceaseless Discharge, I'll have more than enough souls to get max dexterity scaling. Actually, is the scaling any better? Okay, yeah. A scaling in dex, as opposed to B at +0. But yeah, I think we'll have half decent damage for this run. And then I'll get health up a little bit. What do I start with? 9 vitality. I forgot the thief starts with 9. In Dark Souls 2, I think the lowest is depraved, right? Not depraved, deprived. At 6 vitality. Still seems relatively high. I also like the S-Stock. It's a fun weapon. I have done the S-Stock. It was... I actually don't remember when that was. It was a while ago, though. Relatively. Yeah, but the problem is I'm bad at not getting hit, so... Oh, Sorcerer is at 5 in Dark Souls 2? Never mind, I stand corrected. I don't... the only game where I actually remember anything about sorting classes is Demon Souls, and that's just because I've been working on a video about Demon Souls sorting classes, and I still don't even remember most of the levels of that. Physical damage, using only physical damage is understandable, but also really boring to me. Because if a weapon gets, you know, way better if you decide to start using weapon buffs, and like, why not do that? Plus it changes how you have to build. You have to triage between faith or intelligence and health and endurance. I think that makes it a lot more fun. There's no blight there. That's a very perfectly healthy town. I don't know what you could possibly be referring to. I use weapons depending on if I have used them or not. Wow. Okay, that is not bad damage at all. I wonder if one-handed is... Okay, one-handed is also very good. I think two-handed might be a little bit better for now. But one-handed is also very good. Wow, really? That hit her? Okay. Very difficult Quelaag fight, indeed. Wow. The Bandit's knife isn't bad at all. Baller is not the word I would use for the S-Stock using pure physical damage. Yeah, the overhead swipe hitting her when she bends down to do the explosion is very good. No, Quelaag is immune to bleed as far as I know. Rhea, did you use a, I don't know what the character is called, the line character, or is that 3 L's? Why does the middle one look bold? Also, that word reminds me of Warframe. Hate that guy. Flawless. Only viable thrusting sword. The Mailbreaker is significantly better for spell swords. And Velka's Rapier is fun, if not particularly good. The Rapier kind of sucks. I don't know. I've been wanting to do a run with the Rapier, but like, there's no reason to use it ever. So, I don't know. Rapier is just kind of worse S-Stock. Like, I'm sure it's not bad if you use it like I use the S-Stock, but... Can't have a viable thrusting sword if you got bottom surgery. Or I guess if you want bottom surgery. There aren't very many thrusting swords in this game, are there? Because there's the Rapier, there's Volka's Rapier, there's the S-Stock, there's the Mailbreaker. Is there anything else? Oh yeah, Ricards. Ricards is really good. I forgot about Ricards. Ricards is easily the best thrusting sword in the game. I don't think about Ricards very often. Because I used it once, it did stupid damage, and then I never thought about it again. Yeah, that's the fun part, Eth. It's stupid, and that's fun. Okay, boom. What do you mean nobody uses R2s? I guess if you don't understand how to make full use of your moveset, but there are plenty of situations where R2s are extremely useful with all weapon classes. Especially like jumping attacks and stuff. Cards Rapier. Indeed. The S-Stock and Rapier have the exact same moveset. Except the R2 not having the sweep on the Rapier. Which already isn't insanely useful when you could use any other weapon and have a better moveset. Like, any straight sword I think has a better moveset than any thrusting sword. Honestly, people rave about the Balder Side Sword moveset, but I think the Broadsword moveset is just kind of better. Because like the range on the R2 for the Balder Side Sword is good, but the R2 moves you forward with the broadsword, right? So the range is kind of nullified. And I think having the sweep on the R2 is just kind of more useful the vast majority of the time than the poke. I've used the parrying dagger for parrying. I have not used the parrying dagger as a actual weapon. And plus you have to farm for the Balder Side Sword, which takes forever. It's an extremely low drop chance weapon. Whoa. So. This guy being resistant to thrusting, or I mean to slash damage, makes me sad. I think the main benefit of R2s is just like them hitting differently from R1s. The higher damage is nice, but the jumping R2 kind of, or the jumping attack kind of nullifies the higher damage because it's faster. But also, there are certain situations where like a higher damage attack that has the moveset on the R2 is also better. Like the broadsword is a great example of that, where you might want to move forward and do a slash, but also have that higher damage, you know? So you wouldn't want to use a jumping attack there because that won't be a slash. Is the Balder Side Sword the only one? That is just kind of disappointing. I don't dislike the R2, or the S-Stock R2. It's not bad. It's just other things are better for the way that I play the game. I should probably grab the Firekeeper Soul and the Berg. Oh. Firekeeper Souls are for cowards. Like me, actually. Okay. I don't want to kill the crows in the Painted World. But I want to get Dark Moon Blade. I don't know, just Sunlight Blade should be fine. I've never gone that way. Oh! That's why. I forget that if they attack you in the back, they'll do a backstab. I've seen clips of people, like, turning around and getting backstabbed by the Painting Guardians. Like, they very clearly turn around. But the character hasn't finished the turning around animation yet. And then they snap into the backstab animation for the Painting Guardians, and then they'll complain about how buggy and unfair the game is. Funny. Yeah, and the broadsword is one of the most versatile weapons. Full stop. I would argue the broadsword is more versatile. What are you guys doing? I would argue the broadsword is more versatile than the S-Stock and the Balder Side Sword. The broadsword has a wider sweep. The sweep does more damage, which means it's better for crowd control. It does higher poise damage, which again means it's better for crowd control. I don't understand what you would mean by no. The R1 slash is overhead, so it covers your like always, and is really good for individual targets because it's really fast. And then the R2 is a wide sweep. Yeah, and then halberds are also just kind of better than thrusting swords. Is Gwendolyn susceptible to bleed to the point that I will actually be able to use bleed in this fight? I actually have no idea. Guinevere probably has bed sores at this point. Oh, cool. That was fast. Okay, well, I'm not going to be able to get bleed, but 3 cycles is not bad at all. What do you mean halberds suck in Dark Souls 1? Have you used them? Halberds are the best class in Dark Souls 1, full stop. You have the Life Hunt Scythe, you have the Gargoyle's Halberd, you have the Black Knight Halberd. The Giant's Halberd is also really good, despite being a relatively bad halberd. The normal halberd moveset, while... Oh, it did bleed, whoa. The normal halberd moveset, while I personally don't like it very much, is extremely versatile. Significantly more so than both the Balder Sidesword and the S-Stock and the Broadsword. Halberds are the best class in Dark Souls 1, full stop. Like, it's not even close. Pretty rusty. Well, at least he died and doesn't have to deal with tetanus. Yeah, greatswords are also very versatile, but I think just because halberds do comparable damage and are faster, you know? I don't have a talisman. The best talisman in the game is the Sunlight Talisman, which is dropped by... Hold on, it's in there somewhere. Which is dropped by Solaire. Kill him. I don't want to kill Solaire, so I'm just going to spawn it in. What do you mean Dark Souls 1 halberds are slow? They're faster than greatswords, and greatswords aren't particularly slow in this game. Okay, that up, and I have an or two. Oh no, I just need to get faith to 35. I'm gonna put on cool armor. Let's see if I have the endurance for it. I do not. What if I do this? Eh, fashion over poise. Morally correct cheating indeed. The Abyss Greatsword is really fun, but I don't know, like the Claymore is really good, especially, and it's very, very simple. But the Gargoyle's Halberd is just kind of better, you know? Best talisman in the game is the Darkmoon Talisman, followed closely by the Sunlight Talisman. They have the highest magic adjust. The Ivory Talisman is good between, or under, I think it's good between 40 and 50, but at 50, the Sunlight Talisman becomes better or something. I don't know. The Ivory Talisman is the best weapon, or the best talisman in the game for a certain level range. Yeah, Darkmoon Talisman has the same magic adjust as the Sunlight Talisman, but I think the Darkmoon Talisman has a buff for the Covenant, but I'm not sure. I know Darkmoon Blade has the buff from the Covenant, but I'm not sure if the Talisman shares that. I've used almost every halberd in the game for a full playthrough. The Scythe is my favorite weapon in the game. Not the Great Scythe, but the one that's a Bardiche, but it's called the Scythe, but is in the halberd class. I also really like the Crescent Axe, so I think that's technically an axe class weapon. I forget that Dark Souls 1 has a sweet spot mechanic, actually. It's a lot more noticeable in Dark Souls 2. Sunlight has higher magic adjust then. Also, the letter scaling isn't exactly the scaling. There's a number in the background, and the Sunlight Talisman's number is higher than the Ivory Talisman. Yeah, I'm almost positive on that. Okay, the Great Scythe does have a pretty janky R1, huh? Okay, that does not make me mid-roll. I don't know what to tell you. Literally everywhere on the internet that I've seen says that the Sunlight Talisman is better than the Ivory Talisman. The Sunlight Talisman and the Dark Moon Talisman are equivalent, and are slightly better than the Ivory Talisman. There's some commotion. Okay, let's see our damage. That's not bad. It's not great. It's not bad. Especially for the speed of the weapon. Whoa. Wasn't expecting that follow-up. Yeah. With the speed and the low stamina consumption, that's really good. And Smo is susceptible to bleed, so that'll be good in the second phase. I don't know if Ornstein is, though. Back here. Wait, the actual spear doesn't do very much damage on that attack. Ow. Hey, can you not be inside of each other right now? Like, I get it, but we're kind of in the middle of a fight. Whoa. Here we go. Five hits for a bleed. That's shockingly few. You can love each other without PDA in the middle of our boss fight. You can do it after. There we go. Okay, shockingly easy Ornstein and Smoke fight. Once I get 50 faith, I will grab the Ivory Talisman. Well, now you can love each other in the afterlife. I'm gonna attune this before I forget, actually. Won't be able to use it for a bit, but that's fine. At least struggle? I don't know, it's a good weapon. A little too fast to struggle with Ornstein, and Smo isn't a struggle with any weapon. Super Smo, at least. To be fair, I do struggle with the game relatively often. Okay, hello. Correct me if I am mispronouncing your name horribly. Guyan? I assume? There's something that I wanted to grab, but I don't remember what. Oh well, it's probably not important. One of here is just a massive chest. I don't think that's true. My stats are 20 vitality, 40 dexterity, and 17 faith. Otherwise with the starting stats. Okay. Hydra might be a little annoying. Might be a better idea to go do Bed of Chaos first, actually. Just so I can get some levels. But then I'm gonna forget to place the Lord Vessel, even though I need to do it first. It's fine, I'll go fight the Hydra. I assume the Hydra is not susceptible to bleed. Or, at least, if it is, I'm not gonna be able to proc bleed with the Bandit's Knife. I don't think the clothes you're wearing dramatically affects how difficult Bed of Chaos is. Jesus, Krista, are they okay? Accuse the Hydra of being queerphobic. I don't even remember that. I assume it was because it was hitting me a bunch. Okay. Still shockingly good damage, and I'm pretty sure these guys are resistant to slash. Oh, right, because I was Gwendolyn and I was struggling with the Hydra. But, ouch. Ow, ow, that hurt. I'm just kind of doing a normal run with this weapon since I've never used it before. This isn't particularly supposed to be a challenge run. Can they even bleed? Okay, 2 hits is... Oh yeah, I guess I do have a couple fire bombs left for the final head. Okay, yeah, I guess this won't be a big deal. Really? Oh, I thought it was gonna spit water. I don't know why I thought that. Very difficult Hydra. Here we go. That was shockingly easy for how it went last time when I had a bow. Hydra has changed its ignorant ways. True. It was just trying to prove that it's not phobic. Not a bigot. Do you think the Hydra uses they them pronouns not because they're non-binary, but because there's a bunch of them? Do you think each individual head has its own pronouns, or do you think they exclusively exist as a collective? Do you think that the Hydra considers itself plural? Like, the Hydra is just plural? I'm also a plural system. That's cool. Ow. Come on. The range isn't the best here. I have used the Bandit's Knife to kill Sif really early. And I know Sif is vulnerable to bleed. Not like particularly, but Sif can be bled. So I will attempt to take advantage. Yeah, whoever's hosting at the time will be the one talking through their head. Oh, I can't believe I can't believe you would say the Hydra is too stupid to have an identity. Yeah, wow, Dark Souls has queer representation, has poly representation, has plural representation, has trans representation. Crazy. Dark Souls is a very cishet game. Hilaire is Vamos, I'm sure he is. Somehow in the future, but also in the past because time is convoluted. Dark Souls has gone woke. Truly tragic. Miyazaki, more like Wokezaki. Yeah, Vince and Nico kiss, but then Rhea joins sometimes. Obviously, Dark Souls has poly rep. The straightest character is Gascoigne. God, I saw... So, a lot of people don't like the Demon Souls remake for completely valid reasons, right? They completely changed, like, the artistic intent of the original in a lot of different ways. The music doesn't have the same vibe, the game itself doesn't have the same atmosphere, and, like, it's totally valid to dislike the remake because of that. However, I was watching videos about the Demon Souls remake, seeing what different people thought of it, and this guy was like, they changed from male and female to body type A and B, which is very clearly against the artistic intent of the original game. No, wrong Rhea, the other Rhea. Right wingers are so stupid sometimes. It's baffling how they manage to function. Gamers might just hate art. Right-wing gamers hate art. I love modern art. Hey, whoa, hey. Don't jump on me. Okay. Okay, well, assuming I can hit her. I remember her being slightly more susceptible to bleed than that, but that's fine. It is still helpful. Oh, she's limping now. Very difficult Sif fight. Oh, right. Capital G gamers, right? The Partisan and the Uchi. I haven't actually used the Uchi in a very long time, and I haven't used the Partisan at all. Have I used the Partisan? I've done a stream with a spear, but I don't know which one it was, actually. It might have been the Partisan. I don't remember. Yeah, I was petting Sif. That's it. Bed of Chaos, because I want the levels for some Nightblade. What level am I? 50? Okay. I should be able to get Faith to 50 by the end of the run. It was a Partisan? Okay. I might put the Uchi on next month's poll after next week's stream. Assuming I'm able to stream next week after the surgery. $10 to get the $10 trident? Did you not use any luck boosting stuff? The Witch of Izalith is the only boss you can't get greedy with. You mean like it's impossible to because it takes one hit? I have not used the stone great axe either. I actually have a list of weapons. Oh, you know, I wonder if there's a way that I could set up like a persistent hole with. I could make like. No. I don't know. I wonder if there's a way I could set up a persistent pole with all the weapons that I haven't used yet. Um, and whatever the top 4 are at the time for said poll, I could put those on the YouTube poll. Because I have a list of weapons that I haven't used in streams yet. And there are some that I'm not going to use in... That's unfortunate. There are some that I'm not going to use during streams at all, or ones that I think would be more interesting in a video, like Jagged Ghostblade or whatever. But generally, I do have a good chunk of weapons, all in a list, that I have not used in streams and want to still. Okay, while I wait for this elevator, I'm gonna go use the restroom. I'll be right back. Okay, I am back. Batman, Alfred? Dragon God is not worse than Breath of Chaos. Granted, neither of them are bad at all, but Dragon God is literally run to the right, hit a button, run to the left, hit a button, and then attack the horn. Just like how... Well, you can't fall ever. You just have to time your running so that you don't get punched into oblivion. But yeah, you can't just like randomly fall into a pit or whatever. If you're not paying close enough attention, there are no instant deaths if you have a decent amount of health. Is a Bloodborne, Alfred? Isn't that the... Is that the guy who gives you fire paper early on? I don't think you should be punched into oblivion, Ria. That's bad for your health. Okay. I'm kind of worried about Nito specifically. I haven't placed the Lord Vessel. That's fine. I can work back to the Daughters of Chaos bonfire. I'm worried about Nito because the Bandit's knife might not be able to one-shot the skeletons. It probably can, but there's a chance it can't. which might make the fight unnecessarily more difficult. Otherwise, I don't think any boss is going to be particularly difficult. Manus might take a little bit, but I mean, I've done... What was the longest Manus fight I ever did? Like 6 minutes? Completely hitless. So, I'm not super worried about Manus. Not really worried about any boss other than Nito, actually. Four Kings would be difficult if I wasn't getting the stats for Sunlight Blade. There is Elder Scrolls talk happening in chat, and I cannot follow any of it because I don't know anything about anything Elder Scrolls. Beat Manus for the first time? Oh yeah, bow only Manus is really fun. I really like how his like moveset perfectly lines up with how your attacks work. I think bow only is one of the most fun runs I've ever done with Dark Souls, actually. The whip was also a really fun weapon to use, just because it's like... I don't know, you have to use it differently from most weapons because of its moveset and speed and everything. And it also, like, does very little poise damage and everything. So I think that was a really fun run to do as well. Especially because it did so much more damage than I was expecting it to. Because of how out of proportion it is. People say how bad it is, you know? That was not the order I should have said those words. Because of how out of proportion... How people blow things out of proportion with how bad the whip is, because it's not a bad weapon. Shredding bosses can be fun. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I need to place a lord. I almost forgot again. I kind of want to do a pyromancy only run at some point. Just because all of the pyromancy only runs that I've seen don't actually beat Quelaag with only pyromancy. You can do that with Black Flame, right? I'm pretty sure. Matter of Chaos. Only 8 casts, but with a maxed out Pyro Flame, would that not do it? Especially if you use, like, is it Dust Crown Ring that gives you more casts? I don't know. I'm sure there's a way to do it. I don't know what it is, but I'm sure there's a way. There's gotta be. Because there is something that gives you more casts, and there's also the... Isn't there a ring that increases your pyromancy damage? I actually didn't know Black Flame did any fire damage, because it doesn't in Dark Souls 3, and I've never used it in Dark Souls 1. That might not be true. I might have used it in a pyromancy run I did a long time against DLC. Right, so Fire Sage should be funny. Centipede will also probably be funny if I can have enough range to cut the arm off pretty quick. Did the Capra Demon just jump off the ledge? I don't think I've ever seen it do that. That's really funny. Speaking of range... Oh. I assume they're resistant to slash, being rock worms. Yeah, the Bardiche is still my favorite looking weapon, at least in Dark Souls 1. I don't know if it's different in Dark Souls 2 or 3. Dark Souls 3, aesthetically, the Dancer Swords are my favorite. But because they're awful, they are one of my least favorite weapons in the series as weapons. Because it's so cool. And I want to use it, but I can't because it's garbage. There are a lot of really cool weapons in Dark Souls 2. I'm not sure which one would be my favorite aesthetically, though. The Keyblade. It's absolutely the Keyblade. Never mind. I figured it out. It's the key to the embedded. I love the key to the embedded. Oh. Scary? Oh, scary. Isn't the right word, but... How does the Keyblade existing in Dark Souls 2 have anything to do with Kingdom Hearts? A Dilf? Personally, I think that they are thick non-binary people, therefore not Dilfs. I also think that they are not dads and don't have dad bods at all. So, no. Okay. Oh, that's unfortunate. Oh, I pressed the roll button, I swear. What? That's not the attack I was expecting at all. I was expecting the spin jump. I mean, it didn't do damage, so it's not a big deal, but... Okay, well, I don't know if it's even worth trying to get the ring at this point. Because of the range of this weapon. They're gonna push me into the fire. Can this thing be bled? I doubt it. Oh. It can be bled. That's surprising, actually. Yeah, I love that there are like... Is it 2 or... I think 3 different grab attacks that you can escape without taking any damage. There's Centipede Demon, there's Chaos Eaters, and... Can you escape Apings without taking any damage? I don't remember. Okay. Put that on, and then take pants off so I don't have to mid-roll. I forgot Nito even has a grab attack, but the grab itself damages you. So even if the animation itself doesn't end up damaging you, which I'm not sure if it does, or if you can escape it without getting damaged, but the attack, like the initial grab itself does damage you. Not flans. The Keyblade in Kingdom Hearts isn't supposed to look like a real weapon. It's just an idea they had. I was like, wait a second. This can tie in thematically. And then they did it, and it's fun. I think the Keyblade in Kingdom Hearts is a pretty great design for what it is. Like, obviously it wouldn't work as a real weapon, but who cares? Okay, so this is either going to be a completely hitless bit of chaos, or I'm going to die 6 times. The only possible in between is being hit by one smack just before hitting the second node. That is the only other possibility. The bake. I don't know if I think it's actually bait, but it's a giant key. What do you mean it has no character? Prior to Sora's reveal trailer in Smash Bros, the only detail I would have forgotten on the Keyblade, drawing it from memory, is a little keychain with Mickey's head. But now, I don't know, actually. I don't know if I remember the whole thing, but I think I remember the whole thing, at least. In my brain, there is absolutely a sliding sound, but there is no sliding sound in this game. At least for that, which I think is the only part in the entire game where you can actually slide. Which, for some reason, still confuses me to this day. I don't know why I think of there being a sliding sound when there's never been a sliding sound. Oh yeah, I forgot about the one in the depths. I haven't used that in a while. I use it every time I go fight the Gaping Dragon, but I always just skip the Gaping Dragon in the streams. So I very rarely fight on it anymore. Oh my god. This might be a hitless bit of chaos. Oh, true, the controller vibration. That might be where my brain is pulling that sound from. Put my hair up because it's hot. But now there's one strand of hair tickling the back of my neck, which is so much worse than all my hair tickling the back of my neck. Okay, very lucky firestorm. Easy. Okay, now I just gotta pray for no more firestorm. There we go. Hitless bit of chaos. Told you. Okay. Pebbles. Hits. Oh, the floor here is completely stable. You use the game mechanics to your advantage? That doesn't count. You used a weapon? That doesn't count as hitless. You gotta do it without a weapon. The weapons are optional. Okay, okay, I guess I'll do 4 kings next. I don't have levels for Sunlight Blade yet. That's honestly, I think the glitches and exploits in this game are part of what makes it so incredible to me. The fact that you can exploit them to so much of your advantage without it feeling like cheating. I don't know. To me, duping feels like cheating, but depth clip doesn't, and I could not tell you why. But it just feels good in my brain, and I like that. Max, you would be surprised. I mean, to be honest, I'm very contrarian in a lot of ways. I think Bed of Chaos is a genuinely good fight. Or, well, is a genuinely fun boss. I don't think good fight is the right terminology for that. But, like, I don't know. Yeah, I like Bed of Chaos, genuinely. I think, Sonic 06 is my favorite Sonic game, which is extremely contrarian. I do not like Project 06, which, if you don't know anything, Project 06 is supposed to be the, like, definitive what Sonic 06 could have been. I despise Sonic 06. I think it, or Project 06 rather. I think it completely ruins what Sonic 06 was, and doesn't understand what it was trying to be. I also don't like a lot of the changes Legacy of Solaris made to Amy's story, or rather to Silver's story, for instance. There's a lot of stuff like that with Sonic 06 specifically that I'm very contrarian with. So it's just like, it depends on which way you're contrarian. I just gotta be kind of careful with my stamina here. I think the DPS should be fine. And if not, RTSR will make this fight kind of a joke. Yeah, I think puzzle bosses are some of the most fun things about Dark Souls 1 and Demon Souls. And to a degree, Dark Souls 2. They're kind of puzzly gimmicks with Dark Souls 2 bosses. Cool. I'm surprised this is doing so well without a buff, honestly. There's very little in Dark Souls 1 that I expressly dislike. I don't like Seath, but that's just because I think the fight is boring. I don't know. I don't think it's like a bad fight or whatever. I just think it's particularly boring compared to the rest of the game. And that's kind of the only thing that feels like I specifically dislike. I don't know, I wouldn't even go that far. That I don't specifically enjoy about Dark Souls 1. I think everything else kind of has its charm in certain ways. Even if I really wish that infusions were better and actually usable. Is that the second king, or is that this guy's fins? You know, it was that guy's fins, but the second king is spawned, or the fourth king, I guess. Now. New Londo was already done. I went through it earlier to get the very large ember, so I literally just had to run into New Londo, drop down, and into the Four Kings fight. Oops. That was greedy. Not like it matters, but... Also because a lot of puzzle bosses have multiple ways of solving them, right? So I would argue that they do have good replay value regardless. Oh, right. I don't let it.
did you ever get this far? I shall end your suffering
Okay.
here and now.
Wait, backstab.
But how? This woman is a
Wait, really? One backstab? That's kind of shocking. I was expecting it to be more than one. I don't know. I think the quit out, regardless of whether or not it's intended, it's in the game, right? I think it is an entirely valid strategy for fighting the boss, regardless of whether or not that was like, you know, what the developers intended when they made it so that you didn't have to do the second or do the nodes again, right? Like it is a thing that is in the game that you can take advantage of that has to do with the boss. How does the Dark Moon Nidus know what gender you are? Or at least what your character's gender is? I'm gonna skip the bonfire. Just because I don't want to deal with the boars. Really good gaydar. Well, okay, but she only says man or woman. Which is weird, because Gwendolyn definitely feels non-binary when you take only Dark Souls 1 into account. Like, with Dark Souls 3, I think it becomes a lot more likely that he's just a guy, but with how in Dark Souls 1, there's a lot of, like, masculine terminology used for him by people who would want... Or, well, because, like, in every language, the masculine form of master is used by the Dark Moon Nidus in reference to Gwendolyn, despite having like a feminine appearance and everything. And I think there is very much a valid argument to say that Gwendolyn is very gender queer in Dark Souls 1. But then there's nothing like that for the player character. Well, she's like directly in communication with Gwendolyn. She's Gwendolyn's sword, right? So, or blade. What's the term? Gwendolyn's blade, I think. Yeah, Japanese does have the masculine form. I specifically went through a good chunk of translations to see what words were used in reference to Gwendolyn, and every single one that the Nidus uses is masculine in every language. Yeah, mistress is the feminine form of master in English. I feel like that's kind of the problem with the infusions in Dark Souls 1, right? Because, like, they're equally effective no matter what your build is, but that also means that they're equally terrible no matter what your build is. There are instances where infusions can be good, like Chaos if you don't want scaling, because Chaos is generally better than Raw, especially if whatever you're fighting doesn't have a good fire resistance or whatever. But I feel like if infusions were like actually good and scaled, then you could take advantage of them. However, instead of specifically only using them in select scenarios where you can't scale. That is a big number. Oh, I need to put Havel's ring back on. Ooh, backstab kills. That's good. Pasakas! It's Pasaka time. Rare Ring of Sacrifice prevents curse. Normal Ring of Sacrifice does not. That's like... Oh, okay. I think I might die from this. No. Good. Again, if there's a way that I would want to go, it would be that, but at this exact moment, I don't want to die yet. Blue hair and pronouns? What would the Pasaka pronouns be? Like the default Pasaka pronoun? Or like, do they just carry over their human pronouns? One of the more dateable Dark Souls enemies, true. A lot more backstabs than normal. Be it. True. Okay. One more grab for the road. The least dateable Dark Souls enemy? For me personally, I would say it's probably the Massive Souls. Like, if that's your thing, absolutely go for it. However, for me, no thanks. Sewer slimes are also pretty bad. Yeah, actually, the sewer slimes are probably worse just because they're grosser. It would probably give you more diseases. There we go. The crag spiders? The crag spiders are just kind of mostly humanoid, but with spider legs. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, if the Master Souls is your thing, absolutely go for it, but not my thing. I don't know, I think the sewer slimes would be really boring to take out on a day. They would just kind of sit there. Maybe slowly inch toward you. And that feels more menacing than, like, endearing. As opposed to the Pasakas, which presumably still have human minds when they don't hear the sound. Yeah, clean slimes would be cute. But the sewer slimes aren't exactly clean, unfortunately. Which is kind of the issue. Okay. No dancing? The range is so much more than I remembered it being. Okay. I think they can't be clean, yeah. What the? Go! Please. Now he's dancing. I think slimes can be made of whatever. I don't think that the Dark Souls slimes are made of acid, because they don't, like, there's all the bones sticking out of them, you know? I think they're just made of whatever's in the sewer and like a magic probably. Personally, I like the interpretation of slimes that the Wandering Inn has, where they're like liquid imbued with magic. It depends on the acid, but I would assume that the slimes would have a relatively strong acid if they were made of acid. Just masses of muscle and connective tissue. Ugh. Yeah, I can see it. I don't know. I think just because they're so like flowy though, that doesn't like it makes sense, but it doesn't it's not the vibe I get personally. Especially with like the bones sticking out of them, like do they just hold them there, you know? Dark Souls is very much not classic fantasy in most ways. Like it has a lot of classic fantasy tropes, but the monsters especially are very much not classic fantasy in a lot of ways. I don't think that's a very good reason to think that Dark Souls slimes are a specific thing. Slimes have a lot of different like compositions and different uh, forms of fantasy. Like again, I think the Wandering Inn is the most appealing. The slimes can be made of any liquid as long as it's imbued with magic. To the point where they create a slime out of healing potion. It's a really good book series. Or well, it's a web series. I don't know. It's a series of things that were written on the internet and then adapted into volumes or an audiobook. Is web novel a term? I would assume that fits then, yeah. Highly, highly recommend it if you haven't. There is a plural skeleton, and its identities have different genders. The series is The Wandering Inn. I've been reading I've been listening to the audiobooks for a while. Oh, the next one comes out soon, I think. Actually, I don't remember. It's really good. I love it a lot. I love its fantasy and characters, especially. Oh. Oh. Okay. Come on, Seath, you got this. There you go. In the mod I'm making, which I've not made progress in a long time. Anyway, in the mod that I'm making, I made Seath susceptible to bleed because I feel like that makes sense and would also make the fight more interesting. You know, it took me a second to understand that pun. I got it eventually. But I think just because it took me a second to understand, my brain is refusing to find it funny. Well, yeah, but bad puns are like the funny kind, you know? Well, faith. Nido time. Hormones. Or hope she does. You furry soul. I should have a button to put ramped with a gun up on screen while I'm streaming. For that instance specifically. Because that happens almost every stream. how many people are watching this stream naked. I hope at least one. Potentially two. You know, honestly, the skeletons rolling in this game is more annoying than bone wheels. I will always stand by that. Okay, I do not one-shot skeletons, which is unfortunate. Oh my goodness. I said I hope at least one. Okay, yeah, there we go. And that's the potentially two. Whoa. Okay. Now back to one. Yeah, even if I was naked, I don't think I would be watching this technically. It is very hot in here. I'd probably be more comfortable if I was. I said the skeletons rolling are more annoying than the bone wheels rolling. The bone wheels roll in a straight line. The skeletons can bend 180 very, very quickly. Right. Very difficult pinwheel fight incoming. I don't know. After the bone wheel only run, or the everything is a bone wheel run that I did, bone wheels just like aren't difficult for me to dodge anymore. Because I had to do it so much in that run. Floating skull. Oh, you mean the wisps? The ones that explode? They're vaguely annoying when they catch you off guard because a massive soul spawned one and you didn't notice and then it explodes behind you. But I wish it was cooler here. I'm farther north than I've ever lived and it's warmer than it's ever been. Goddamn global warming. Okay. And now I say something about having to pay attention to the game so I don't end up walking off a narrow ledge, and then I do it anyway because I decide to glance over at chat despite specifically saying that I should not be looking at chat while walking on the narrow dark pathways because I will fall off and then I end up falling off. Don't fall off while I do? Okay, well I had a moment to look at it without falling off, so you're in luck. Now would probably be a good time to put on the wolf ring, but no. Don't worry, there's still opportunities. I'm still on a narrow pathway, and you never know. I could fall off even on a wide pathway, knowing me. I'm gonna do something. Oh yeah. Okay, I will do my best to not be distracted by that message, Aaron. I hate not having clothes on all parts of my body at all times. I'm always wearing a long sleeve shirt and long pants if I can. Because autism, I hate not wearing clothes. I didn't forget the wolf ring. I just don't want it on right now. I actually don't like gloves, weirdly. I think it's just because I'm so used to not having clothes on my hands specifically. Does this do the... Okay. Yeah, not wearing clothes makes my autism angry. It's the exact opposite from most people I know. But evidently, a couple people share my opinions. No. God damn it. There we go. Do you get distracted by this message? Okay, I'm doing my best. Whoa. Good timing, Nito. Thank you. Okay, well, that's significantly worse timing, but... Never mind. Perfect timing, Nito. Thank you. Okay, this one is bad timing, though. Yeah, perfectly bad timing. Ow! Heal. Everything's fine. You doing the AoE? Yes. Cool. Thank you, Nito. Yeah, I think I prefer dexterity over having clothes on my hands. I'm gonna get hit by this, I think. Yeah, well. Oh, good. And Sunlight Blade wore off, too. Okay, this is fine. Ow. There we go. Easy. I was pretty lucky with how much he was using the AoE. There are compression gloves you can get that are actually specifically designed to be used while doing things with your hands. And they're supposed to help with like RSIs if you get that, or like hand fatigue especially. Might want to look into those. Yeah, if you had to defeat Nito through the coffin in order to access his covenant, rather than having to access his covenant before fighting him through the coffin. Okay, DLC time. I think. Yeah, I did all 4 lights. Oh, what the heck? Why am I moving so fast? Yeah, I am actually wearing a brace right now. A hand brace. Because I get an RSI extremely easily. So I'm basically always wearing a brace when I'm playing games, and I should absolutely have compression gloves. I just kind of don't. There we go. I'm almost out of water. That doesn't happen most of the time. This is what leveling dex does. It just kind of lets you do that sometimes. I'm not sure why still, but yeah, it just kind of happens. I don't think Sunlight Blade is going to be pretty cool here, but having it is better than not regardless. Yeah, only sometimes. I really don't understand it yet, but... I wonder if Sanctuary Guardian can be bled. I actually have no idea. It can. Whoa. It also has no health. Lunaset is very good. Highly recommend it. Oh my god. Come on. Oh wow, that's... yeah, okay. Sunlight Blade was not doing much. Hey, it was actually hitless. I was gonna make a joke about reading that after I got hit, but I actually beat the boss for this. Yeah, how the developer specifically added pronouns to the character creation screen to piss off bigots. It's awesome. Okay, I'm gonna use soul item. Just because I want to have 50 faith by the end of this run. I don't need it by any means, especially since elemental damage is not useful in the DLC, but I think I have all the achievements in Lunacid. I'm pretty sure I do. It's really fun to do. I think that's all my... Oh, that's all my soul items. I don't know if I'm gonna have 8 more levels. We'll see. Pretorius and Manus will probably give me like 2 each. Then another one from their souls. Another 1 or 2 from their souls. I don't know. I do want to see the scaling on the Sunlight Talisman and the Ivory Talisman. Because if the Ivory Talisman has been better this whole time and I've just been using an inferior talisman and killing Solaire for no reason. Granted, you need to beat Capra Demon or Pinwheel to even get the Ivory Talisman in the first place, rather than getting it like basically at the beginning of the game. I specifically remember the Sunlight and Dark Moon Talisman being the best from doing research for the DPS videos. The first one I did. But that was also a very long time ago, and I've just kind of assumed that my information on that has always been correct. Oh, they don't keep following him? That looks very funny. Doggy! Chicken! Dragons are simultaneously dogs and chickens. I think my bottom right wisdom tooth is coming in. Ow, ow. I just randomly felt a sharp pain in the back of my mouth. Huh. Dogs. I feel like if you put dog first in that combination, it would come out with something significantly worse than trogs. Yeah. I would argue that that is significantly worse than trogs. I mean, it's a name. It's not NSFW, but like, it's the vibes. I don't know. Thank you for the good luck wish. Wow, that is not a lot of damage. Ow. Oh. I don't think I'm gonna be able to knock him out of buffing. I also like chogs. Oh. Okay, that's not terrible. It's not a safe heal, I don't think. I'm gonna see if I can knock him out. I don't think I can. What? Okay, no, I cannot. Even with 5 hits. Goggles Dickens. Oh my god. Do something I can punish, please. Thank you. That was very greedy. I need to be careful about my stamina here. One more Sunlight Blade for the second half of the fight. Shouldn't be too big of a deal, hopefully. It's just Artorias. Oh, that's so much less damage. Maybe R2s would be able to knock him out, but it's fine. Not like I plan on getting hit anyway. Oops. Messed up the jump attack input, of course. I think I'd be better at that by now, because with how much I use the attack. I pressed the dodge button, I swear. No. This is rude. Oh my god. That did so much damage. Okay. I can't believe I just died to Artorias because of greedy healing. This is tragic. Like, I've never even played this game before. Oh hey, the thing that happens when you level dexterity happens. How convenient. Okay. Have a good night, Winter, or day, wherever you are. Thank you for being here when you could. Hey, this time though, I probably won't get greedy while healing. Probably. What? He didn't turn that much last time? That was rude. Okay. Yeah, I would use a bow, but I don't think I even have one. And I kind of want to just use the dagger itself, because that's how I like doing weapon runs. Oops. Just personally, as a preference. Okay. Be a little bit more careful this time, huh? Do I have a bow? Yeah, no, I don't have a bow on me at all. I've rolled in there, that's fine. Come on. I don't know if that second attack is safe there. But so far so good. Of course I'd mess up that jump attack. It might honestly be worth grabbing Red Tear Stone Ring for mana specifically. I don't know. I'm actually not sure if Force will knock him out of buffing. But then I'd have to level Attunement more and also get Force. Or for this one specifically, anyway. I think the longest Artorias fight I've ever done was the Ghostblade fight. And that was like 4.5, 5 minutes or something. And I had to do it completely hitless. That was an experience. Okay, one more. There it is. Easy. That was probably the hardest fight I've ever done in Dark Souls. Which is weird, because Artorias isn't difficult for me. But Nito doesn't have enough health to make that run particularly difficult for him, you know? Oh, I don't know. I'm not sure why Artorias was the hardest boss in that run, despite Artorias being relatively easy most of the time for me. Alright, 2 more bosses, and one of them is effectively ceremonial. Menace hopefully won't be too difficult, but it'll probably be a pretty long fight, especially once Sunlight Blade wears off. Oh, getting there might be an issue. It'll be fine. I'm sure the 3 bloat heads with the sorcerer right before the chain prisoner won't be too much of an issue, despite them always being the most difficult part of the DLC every time. Everything's fine. Mine's been going shockingly good. I beat Artoria second try despite it being a really long fight. We just have Menace and Gwyn left. Probably not a good idea to sprint straight through here because I'm going to have to deal with the second blowhead in the hallway, but it's probably fine. Actually, I wonder if it's better to just run straight through this room. I'll have more bloatheads chasing me, but I'm not sure that even really matters. Oops. Especially since I'm going to be hitting the elevator shortcut. Oh, never mind. I thought the one that drops down on you is... Where? The armor system? Like... resistances or like stuff, or like bouncing off of stuff. I don't do Calamite in most streams just because activating him, like running down, running all the way back up, getting the key, talking to Goff, watching the cutscene. Oh my god. Running back down is just like really tedious and annoying. Most things are either have neutral damage to, or neutral resistance to slashing damage, or are actually weak to it. Like the demons are weak to slashing damage. There are a few bosses that are resistant to it, but it's mostly just random enemies that aren't difficult anyway. Alright. Hard part. Wow, I got very lucky there. I'm not sure how difficult that would be. I'm sure there's a way that I could do it with like Cheat Engine or DSR Gadget even. Yeah, maybe not DSR Gadget, but I don't know. Hello again, Carl. Welcome back. A gamer grandma? I do not consider myself a gamer grandma, unfortunately. Higher AR makes armor less effective. I don't think that's a thing in this game. Split damage will have to go through double damage calculations, which makes it do a lot less damage. But that's the only instance where the AR system is like affected by defenses in a significant way. A British playthrough. Yeah, like I'm sure a quick Calamite mod is very possible. I'm just not sure how to make it personally. I don't know if it exists yet though. Anthony, I will not ruin your facade, but I feel like you exaggerated a bit much. Enormous, Tony. What's the damage like? Bad. Not as bad as I was expecting. I forgot that has a follow-up, and I don't know how to dodge it. I wanted to do a third attack there. Okay. See what Sunlight Blade does. What the? Okay. Okay, not that much more, but more enough that using the buff is a good idea. Need to heal, just for safety. Are we the same height? I thought you were taller than me. I don't know why. Whoa. Ugh. Immense skill issue on my part. Not using jump attacks against Manus feels so weird. Okay. I guess Sunlight Blade was doing more than I thought it was, but this is fine. I've done this fight with way less damage. I think Themis is gay, but Manus is not. Personally. Want to take half the controller, Anthony? Which half? Because I think which half you take will determine a lot about that run. The movement half? Okay, that would make it easier. I think. Big Tony needs the entire controller. We'll do a run where I just show you where all like the best weapons and stuff in the game are. And then yeah, we'll make it so that you beat the game in an extremely easy way, despite being significantly less knowledgeable about the game. This might be it, actually. Or this might be close to it. Yeah, just a couple more. One more? Perfect, thank you. Wow. First try, despite my subpar gameplay today. Fine, Territorius, Jesus. Wake up, Dusk. Alright. Gwyn time. That's a silly question. Of course I'm parrying Gwyn. Yes, the 10k special is still happening. In the Discord specifically. So if you're not in there and are interested in the 10k special when that happens, the link is in the description, on top of just being a very cool, weird Dark Souls focused community. Man ass. Yeah, well, what I mean is, AR itself is not affected, or yeah, damage speed does not change AR. So low AR doesn't matter. There are resistance types, or there are damage types with specific resistances to specific damage types. But the only reason split damage actually does less is because it goes through resistance for both its damage types. So it goes through the damage calculation twice, which then decreases its overall damage from its maximum AR rather than the defense calculation only being made on one damage type. So it's cut multiple times instead of just once. I did see your comment. I actually hearted it. Only a matter of time. That's so many people. I still think it's insane that I have more than 1,000 subscribers. I think the Ghostblade video alone got me like 500 subscribers or something, which is absurd. One more time, just because we're nearing the end of this. If you enjoy my content and want to see me do better, I would really appreciate it if you could like the stream, subscribe, do algorithm stuff, whatever. Helps my videos get out there and helps me make more money from all of this, which will improve my living conditions. Just to watch the end, it's worth boiling live. I hope I can make it worth it. The main reason that unupgraded weapons do so little damage is because upgrades both boost base damage, but also increase scaling pretty dramatically. What was I gonna do? Oh yeah, here, I was gonna take this off and put this on. So upgrades just help a lot in terms of how much damage you do. Whoa. This is tragic. I messed up a Gwyn parry. First I died at Artorias, and then I miss a parry on Gwyn, the first one. For the pit. Do you still drink a lot of things, Anthony? What? Twice in a row. Do I have the talisman in my hand? I do have the talisman out. Okay, that explains that. My bad. Someone needs to make a mod where you can parry with the talisman in your hand. Whoa, good damage. I don't imagine Sunlight Blade is helping a ton here. Wasn't there a time that you, like, contacted Glade after spraying it in your mouth and they were like, yo, don't do that? There you go. Oh my god, yeah, people saying that videos could be shorter. Oh my god. On the Unremarkable and Odd Places one, they were saying the video could have been 20 minutes. And I shouldn't yap so much, but the entire point of the channel is to yap, so I don't understand that comment. Anyway, Gwyn is done. Bandit's Knife. It's shockingly good, even without the buffs. It's not, like, incredible, but it is a very, very good dagger. And if you want to do a dagger run, I would say the Bandit's Knife is probably your best bet. Priscilla's dagger was also relatively easy, but I think Bandit's Knife, because it's more versatile, is a better weapon. I've yet to use a few other daggers, including the default dagger, but I don't know. There's no reason that would be in any way better than the Bandit's Knife. Dagger. I hardly know her. God. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I love you all, and I don't know how to end this.